There is a mass exodus of loan officers quitting the mortgage industry. My name is seanu Uyehara. I'm an area manager with Geneva Financial, and I've been doing loans for the last 15 plus years. And I created my channel to help you get the right mortgage and understand the behind the scenes of what goes on in the mortgage industry. Now, this was something I wanted to share with you because this is some big news. There was an article by Housing Wire that recently talked about over 100,000 loan officers have exited the industry over the last couple of years. Now, they say there's about typically 184,000 or so licensed loan officers across the country, but nearly half of them have decided to leave the industry altogether. And I think, honestly, this number is going to pick up even more towards the end of the year as we all have to renew our licenses. They project maybe another 30 to 40% more loan officers will get out of the industry. This just goes to show you how difficult the market has been over the last couple of years. Now, some of you might be asking, why am I sharing this with you? These are some of the things that go unnoticed in the industry because when times are good, you have everybody out there that wants to be a real estate agent. They want to be a loan officer. Everyone's a top producer. But now that the market has really contracted the way it has over the last year and a half, it has pushed out all of the folks that got in that were either doing it part-time or they just weren't taking the business serious. And you know what? Maybe the money was easy and they got out. Now they're going back to working regular 9-to-5 jobs. But this is why I've always said in my videos, the person that you work with is so important because they may come across like they know what they're doing, but when times get tough, is that person still in the industry? Is that person still helping families get into their properties, or did they go back to working their 9-to-5? There's a lot of people that I personally know that have taken part-time jobs just to try to stay in the industry. So again, as you make your biggest life decision, your biggest financial decision, I should say, you're buying a house, you're borrowing hundreds of thousands of dollars, you have to work with someone who knows what they're doing. It's not always about the lowest interest rate because guess what? All those guys that offered probably lower interest rates than what some people could offer, they're getting out of the business. So it doesn't necessarily mean that them putting clients into those homes did them justice. A lot of them could be in homes that they can't afford. And you know what? Over the last several months, I've had a lot of people that have reached out to us because their mortgage payments have gone up. Their escrow accounts have had shortages. There have been people that have missed mortgage payments that need to tap into their home equity. There's been people that have missed credit card payments that are trying to tap into their home equity. And when you look at the market where we came from during 2020 and 21, interest rates were really, really low, which is amazing for all of us. Everybody loved that. However, think about the buyer's mindset during that time frame. And I think this is something that not many people are even thinking about right now, because during that time frame, as a buyer, your mindset was not, I want to buy a house and I want a comfortable payment. The mindset was, I want to buy a house and what's the maximum amount that you can take me to? What's the most amount of money I can qualify for? Then, because the market was so competitive, you shopped around, you found some houses you liked, and then your realtor told you, hey, if you love this house, it's listed at, let's just say $400,000. You're probably going to have to offer $430,000 in order to get your offer accepted. Do you want to do that? And you know what you said? Yes. So everybody was literally pushing you to the limit. Now that the market has changed, interest rates are up, credit card payments are up, credit card interest rates are up, everything is more expensive today. So every $100, $200, $300 increases across the board, guess what? Now you're paying an extra $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month in bills that you didn't have 2 years ago or 3 years ago when you bought your house. This is why the strategy and the conversations that you have with your loan officer is so important. And this message really goes to real estate agents as well, because there's so many realtors out there that will literally send their clients to 3 or 4 different lenders and say, go with whoever gives you the best deal. The best deal. They always love to use that word. The best deal is subjective. The best deal to me is not the best deal to you. So why wouldn't you let the client and the loan officer, a good loan officer, help explain that to the client to give them options so they can help make the decision versus just going with whoever's got the lowest interest rate? Because guess what? If you did a loan with someone a couple of years ago that they gave you the lowest rate, what are the chances they're into business today? Slim. 50%'s already got out. They say another 30%'s going to leave the industry in the next probably 3 to 6 months. So what good does that do? Who are you going to go to for advice? You have no one. So this is why the reputation of who you're working with is so, so important. And I'm not just saying this because I want business. I'm saying this because these are some of the things that you got to think about as you get into the process. But so many times it gets ignored. Everyone wants the cheapest in order to get into their property. But the strategy, in my opinion, is far more valuable because if your loan officer can set you up for success, this is how you can maintain your property. And another thing that goes unnoticed so many times is that people love buying brand new homes today. I get it. I looked at a new home myself, but how many times I've spoken to clients, they freak out when they get their mortgage payment when their property taxes gets reassessed. And now guess what? Payment might have went up another few $100s. Well, who are you going to call? You're not going to call the builder's lender because what do they care? They've got 100 more people that they're trying to throw into houses this month. Your real estate agent's not going to do anything for you because they're going to tell you call the lender or call the servicer. But again, having your lender explain these changes to you, that letting you know your payment will probably increase. Understanding what that could look like for you so you can better budget for yourself. And I know as a society, we do a horrible job of budgeting, but I think now this is the time where things are tough. We have to look at some of the extra expenses that we have, whether it's dining out or just spending money frivolously that we should be saving or just being better about our overall budget. Most loan officers that are still in the industry, we all work on commission. It's very, very rare that you find a loan officer that gets paid a salary in order to do the job that we do. So of course, the more people we talk to, the more opportunities we have in order to help more families. But this is where you have to differentiate yourself from the rest of the competition. So for all of us that have been doing this for a long time, that are still in the industry, I tip my hat to you, especially the real estate agents that are in the industry. We're all fighting to put food on the table for our families. We're all fighting to stay in the industry that we love and we feel so passionate about. So when you're shopping around for a lender, I would just tell you, take some of that into account, that the person that's sitting on the other side of the table of you is doing the best that they can to help you get into your home. And you know what? If the relationship doesn't work, that's fine. Not everyone is meant to work with every client, but just make sure that you are looking for the right things in the transaction. Ask your loan officer for their reviews, or maybe you can find some information about them online. And same thing with your real estate agent. Make sure you're working with the people that are going to be around in the next 90 days, let alone the next, hopefully, couple of years. Because again, this is the biggest purchase, refinance, transaction you're going to make in your life. And you want to make sure that the people that you're dealing with know what they're doing. There's a lot of newbies that are still out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, there's a lot of newbies that make mistakes. We just had a transaction with a realtor. This was her first transaction, and there were so many things on the contract that she didn't understand that she wanted us to intervene and help advise the client on, which I told her we're not doing that because that's your end of the transaction. But little things like that the client had no idea that was going on behind the scenes. So we had to get her broker involved to help the realtor so she could best coach the client. But again, these little mistakes that no one would have caught, we want to make sure that we're looking out for you. So get a good realtor, get a good loan officer, someone that is dedicated to their craft, dedicated to the profession, so they can help you get into your house. If not, there's going to be mistakes that are going to be made. Some of these mistakes could cost you money, and you as a client are going to be the one that's going to have to pay. So whenever there's some upheaval in the market, like we're seeing today, you're having property values, you're seeing a tougher market altogether with interest rates, property values, and now folks that are in the business are leaving, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. So you just got to make sure that you have your best interest in mind and work with someone who's going to do that for you. So if you need a second opinion on your financing, don't forget my team. We're here for you. You can always send us an email. My email's in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.